Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to episode 35 of my ongoing Let's Play Battle Brothers series. Now we've found our way to Neufarn, and they do indeed have the war bows that we're hoping to purchase. Unfortunately, the prices are a little unreasonable right now. Neufarn is currently suffering the Missing Villagers modifier, which increases all of the prices because they're suspicious of outsiders. Fortunately, that should be easy enough to fix by simply taking the appropriate contract. While you wait for Edmund the Guildmaster to explain what he needs your services for, you contemplate on how silent and eerie the whole settlement was when you first arrived. Edmund the Guildmaster raises his voice. "This place is cursed by the gods and haunted by unearthly beasts. They come in the night with glowing red eyes and take lives at their whim. Most of our cattle is dead, and I fear that once there are no more, we are next to be torn apart. The other day we sent our strongest lads out to find and kill the beasts, but we haven't heard from them since." He sighs deeply. "Follow the tracks and hunt down and kill those creatures, so that we can live in peace again. We are not wealthy, but all chipped in to pay for your services." Well, obviously we're going to take the job. The 1,000 gold crowns is just a bonus, so we'll accept their offer. Let's see. Oh, well that was quick. It appears that they're being terrorized by a pack of 14 dire wolves. And since they're within sprinting distance, we'll just head right over there and take care of it. It's been a while since we fought dire wolves, but they're pretty straightforward opponents. They're basically like goblin wolves without the riders. They move quickly, they have a lot of attacks, but they're lightly armored and easy to put down with a few sword strikes or arrows. This is a much larger pack than we've ever faced before, so we have to be careful not to be overwhelmed. If even a single one of these things gets in contact with, say, one of our archers, then we'd end up suffering our first casualty in quite some time. And speaking of the archers, it looks like they're up. Let's go ahead and start softening up these wolves, and then our frontliners can lay into them. Alessandro doles out a pierced arm muscle. Wojtek strikes the same wolf. Potato takes out the armor on one of the wolves. Mark puts an arrow through its shoulder. And Woe gets the first kill, dropping the dire wolf on our front lines. Now, I guess we should just go ahead and rush right in. Roderick will move up, but he's not able to find purchase. Dominic moves up alongside him, and he doesn't hit either. Yeah, these things have decent defensive stats, so looks like our men are having a pretty hard time hitting them. Here's a light injury. Chiron moves up. Ooh, and he manages to actually break the morale on that wounded dire wolf. Rondis steps in and plunges his dagger through another dire wolf's arm. And Jano steps in, getting another minor hit. And Woe quickly capitalizes by breaking the morale on that same dire wolf. Nicely done. We didn't kill nearly as many of these things as I hoped we would in the first turn, but at least we managed to break some of their morales. But now we have to watch them bite and claw at the brothers. Though we're doing a pretty good job of warding them off so far. I'm seeing a lot of misses and some minor shield and armor hits. The problem is that, oh, we've got one who's heading right for our archers. That could be a problem. The big problem here is just the sheer number of attacks these guys get. Individually, their attacks would have a hard time getting through our armor. But you know how it works with RNG. Alright, we're going to focus fire on this guy. We've already got a chest wound there. But unfortunately, we didn't land a lot of hits. Henry steps in, pierces its hand with the banner, and Mark finally manages to put it down. Now our frontliners can continue whittling away at the pack. Woe pierces an arm muscle with his jagged pike, then quickly switches off to his dagger and shield. Roderick draws his warbrand and cleaves open a direwolf's gut. Dominic steels himself and clobbers one of the wolves with his military pick. Come to think of it, I really should have swapped out the military picks for spears for this fight. Reinhardt's looking pretty overwhelmed up there, so we're going to set him on shield wall. Now Rondis is up, so that means it's time to break out the greatsword. And he manages to slice open the ribs of one of the wolves, breaking its morale. But Chiron swiftly finishes it off, as well as the direwolf next to it. Janos draws his great hammer and prepares an arcing swing, killing one of the wolves and breaking another one's morale. And his second swing sends it flying across the battlefield. Now the wolves are attacking us again at the top of round 3. We're seeing some more shield and armor hits. About half of Reinhardt's armor is gone, but he's still uninjured. Another wolf just moved up on our archers, but fortunately it decided to attack Woe instead of Alessandro. And our archers are up. Alessandro quickly draws his jagged pike and puts it through the direwolf's shoulder. Wojtek takes careful aim and fires past Alessandro, sinking an arrow into the wolf's leg. Potato drops a badly injured direwolf, then fires a few more arrows into the midst of the pack. Woe manages to drop the direwolf that was menacing our archers, then turns his attention to another one of the direwolves surrounding Reinhardt. Mark drops another injured direwolf. And I don't think he's got any other open shots here, so he's just going to have to move up. Roderick readies his warbrand, splits a wolf's hand in half, then finishes it off with a backswing. And he's still got enough action points for a dagger strike, so he sinks his dagger into yet another direwolf's chest. Rondis is up, and he cleaves a direwolf's artery open with his greatsword, then draws his dagger and strikes it again. Chiron leapfrogs past Rondis and keeps the pressure on that wolf. And Reinhardt continues a desperate struggle against 3 wolves on the north side. But he's out of stamina now, so he can't shield wall again. Janos moves up to support him, but can't land a hit. Alessandro moves up to support him as well. In fact, let's just start moving everyone who's not engaged in that general direction. Three-quarters of Reinhardt's armor's gone, but he's still pretty healthy. And Alessandro's up. We'll swap him back to his bow. And he sinks one arrow into a wolf. Wojtek steps up, putting an arrow through the same wolf's shoulder and breaking its morale. Henry finishes off the last wolf on our south side, and now everyone can start heading to the north end. Woe is up. We'll switch him back to his pike, and unfortunately he misses his shot. Dominic will move to support. Rondis will start moving to support. Roderick will once again ready his warbrand. And he manages to lash into the broken direwolf, but now he's thoroughly exhausted. He'll have to spend the next turn recovering. And Reinhardt manages to land another hit. It actually looks like he's going to pull through this with minimal injuries. One of the direwolves tries to flee, and Dominic the Shield handily beats it to death with his military pick. And we're moving into round 5, so Reinhardt will have to weather one more turn worth of attacks. The last of his chainmail is sheared off and he finally takes a light wound. Wojtek fells one of the last 3 direwolves. Alessandro steps up and shoots another one. Sergeant Baggins slashes into one of the direwolves. Potato steps up and puts an arrow through the same direwolf's shoulder. Woe shears open the neck of the other direwolf. We've pretty much won the fight at this point. It's really just a matter of piling onto these guys now. Looks like Rondis can't quite get into the fray just yet. Dominic the Shield steps up and lands a solid hit. Roderick starts circling wide. Chiron tries to get into the fray as well. Reinhard smashes one of the direwolves' noses. Defiant to the end he is. And Janos finally lands a hit with his hammer, managing to kill both of the remaining direwolves. Not bad. Mark's up to level 10. Chiron hit level 11, congratulations. And Wojtek hit level 8. It also looks like Janos pulls MVP with 3 kills. And we of course got a big stack of unusually large wolf pelts. It's just a shame we don't have a tailor who can actually turn those into armor. Having killed the foul creatures, you begin skinning and scalping them. Gruesome creatures require gruesome evidence. Your employer, Edmund the Guildmaster, might not believe your work here otherwise. Well, let's be done with this. We have crowns to collect. We'll head right back to Neufarn here. And Edmund the Guildmaster welcomes your return with a goblet of wine. Drink up, Beast Slayer! You're curious as to how he already knows of your success. He waves off your curiosity. I've many eyes and ears in this land. Not spies, of course, but the common folk has a big mouth. I should know. I am one. You did well on this one, Sellsword. So have a sip. It's mighty fine wine. It's all right. The reward of 810 crowns you walk out with is far better, though. Edmund the Guildmaster stops you. Just so you know, mercenary, those beasts killed some good men and women out there. These people might be scared of you, being the sellsword that you are, but they are eternally grateful all the same. You weigh the crowns. Quite grateful, yes. A job well done. That gets rid of the disappearing villagers modifier, and more importantly, it significantly dropped the price of these war bows. I think that's a full 1,000 gold off the price. We'll go ahead and pick at least one of those up. But let's go ahead and check out the new contract here first. A cat is on Duke Dietmar von Eisenstein's table. He pets it, the feline scrunching up to the scratch, but then it suddenly hisses, bites the man, and sprints out the door you just came through. Duke Dietmar von Eisenstein dusts himself off. Barking animal, one moment they love you, the next, well... He sucks on a drop of blood coming from his thumb. You ask if you should come back so he can nurse himself back to health. Very funny, sellsword. No, what I want you to do is go northwest of Eisenwall and take on a group of greenskins inhabiting those parts. We need them destroyed, scattered, whatever word you like, so long as they're gone. Does that sound like something you could do for us? Well, it's not a hefty paycheck, but we'll accept it. Every group of greenskins we kill is one step closer to ending the war. So let's see where we're going. That's not too much of a walk. We'll pick up one of those war bows, stop by Gronenberg, and then go ahead and hit this forgotten hut. And welcome back. Here we are just outside the forgotten hut, but unfortunately we've had to delay our attack, because it appears this greenskin horde is making a beeline for us. If we attack the hut now, that horde will join in, greatly increasing the number of orcs and goblins that we'll end up facing. That's definitely not something we want to deal with, so unfortunately we're going to have to meet these guys head on. I'm not entirely comfortable with it, but they appear to move much faster than we do. So unfortunately that means we can't really make a tactical withdrawal. We'll just have to go in there and take them out the old-fashioned way. Now, of course, because we've engaged them at night and we're dealing with fast enemies like Goblin Wolf Riders, you'll notice we've swapped out our archers in favor of a full squad of heavily armored frontliners, 2 rows deep. The game's AI is going to tell it that it has range superiority, but they can't actually see us because of the darkness. So we're going to have to start advancing on them once we've got ourselves into a good formation here. Hopefully the darkness will be enough to handicap their ambushers, even when we get close enough for them to see us. I want to keep our lowest level frontliners near the center of our back line. That's where they'll be safest. We'll set our spears just in case any of the Wolf Riders do decide to advance on us while we're still setting up. But it looks like they're all holding steady. Alright, we're more or less in a good defensive formation. Let's move into round 2 and we'll start advancing on them. Looks like Roderick leads the charge, bringing a line of Goblin skirmishers into view, backed by a line of Goblin Wolf Riders and ambushers. Definitely a pretty frightening sight. We'll start bringing up our back row, but the front line will move up ahead of them in a second. Oops. I accidentally moved Dominic too far up there. I meant to keep him in the second row. But it's fine. He's handled himself well in the past. As long as he's near the center line, he should be fine. And we'll keep Reinhard and Chiron guarding the corners. Janos is going to start falling a little behind because of his foot injury. And it looks like Reinhard just took a poisoned arrow. That'll slow him down a little. It looks like the wolves are falling back. I guess they're providing cover for the ambushers. Not a lot of orcs. I just see those 2 orc young flanking them on the north and south side. But honestly, those guys shouldn't be much problem. It's the ambushers and the wolf riders I'm worried about here. We'll advance a little more, but I want to see if I can goad these guys into stepping up to attack us. I don't want to have to deal with their ambushers firing right through their ranks into us. At least most of their arrows are missing. Other than that one lucky hit they landed on Reinhard, we seem to be weathering the barrage pretty well. Casimir is one of our lower level brothers, so I definitely don't want to do anything crazy with him. But let's go ahead and let Roderick wade in. He draws his warbrand and doles out 2 crippling wounds with a single thrust of his blade. I guess we'll risk moving Dominic in right behind him. Dominic manages to knock a bit of armor off that Wolf Rider. Belfontaine falls in on Roderick's other side, but can't land a hit. Steps up and draws his great axe. doling out a solid chest wound to the Goblin Wolf Rider. Rondis moves in, ignoring the paltry spear strike, draws his greatsword, but can't land a hit. And Chiron steps in, but gets repelled by the spear-wielding goblin. Unexpected. Janos moves up, but can't quite get in there just yet. Reinhard moves in as well. He's still a little hampered by that poison, but he manages to land a light hit with his dagger. Now our second row will move up. I guess we'll put Casimir at the end of the line next to Chiron. And our polearm-wielding brothers will step up behind the frontliners. I need to move Oswald up to the north side too, so he can get in there next turn. Looks like, who was that? I think Reinhard stabbed the wolf as it tried to flee. Casimir's been engaged on the south side, and someone just hit Baggins as well. Actually, Casimir's being double-teamed by 2 Wolf Riders. I don't like that. I'm going to need to shuffle his position when I get the chance. For the most part, the goblins are just meeting us front line to front line. We have the edge on them in a stand-up fight. But our best bet here is to dole out as many crippling wounds and killing blows as we can to shatter the morale of the adjacent goblins. That's the quickest way to root these guys. Oswald will move around to the north side of their line and sneak in a quick dagger hit. Dominic fells one of the goblin skirmishers with his spear, then strikes another one. Belfontaine just took a light hit, but now he gets a chance to counterattack. Unfortunately, he can't get past the skirmisher's shield. Agatis steps up with his great axe and crushes Dominic's remaining opponent. Unfortunately, he can't get off another swing with the axe, so he readies his dagger and fells a second goblin skirmisher. Nicely done. Roderick moves in and readies a sweeping arc, doling out 2 severed arteries and a split shoulder. He's definitely getting pretty handy with that thing. The unarmored Orc Young here is a much easier target, but Chiron really needs to support Casimir. And he doles out a chest wound. Rondis decapitates a goblin skirmisher, then disembowels the orc next to him. Janos moves in, finally engaging, and he quickly draws his great hammer, smashing an Orc Young's fingers. And Reinhard doles out 1 solid hit with his dagger, and I think he's finally over that poison he got hit with earlier. Nearing the end of the round, so we've got a little bit of end-of-round maneuvering. But now we're into round 5. 2 more light wounds on Casimir. He's at about 60% health. Ooh, okay. Oh, whoa! Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Unfortunately, that blow was fatal. Casimir the Glorious is dead. I'm not sure exactly who landed that hit, but that was unexpected, and now all we can do is avenge his death. I guess when we went into this, we knew that at least a few of us were going to die going up against the Greenskin hordes. It's just hard facing up to that reality. Sorry, Casimir. Belfontaine moves in, felling one of the Orc Young. Looks like the Raiders are actually handily slaughtering the Greenskins now. Better late than never, I suppose. I guess Casimir's death was just what they needed to spur them on towards a quick and decisive victory. Roderick disembowels another orc. Reinhard moves in to lock down the ambushers before they can run. Rondis moves in to support Chiron against the fleeing Wolf Rider. The one unattended ambusher manages to flee. But another ambusher tries to flee and gets hacked to pieces by Igot. Roderick cuts down another orc young. No, absolutely not. We are going to kill every greenskin here to properly avenge Casimir's death. Oswald moves up, kills one of the goblin ambushers, then gets line of sight on the other one. The rest of the squad quickly moves forward, chasing down the fleeing goblin. Of course, we'll never catch up with him on foot, so that means it's time to let Jaeger loose. Jaeger quickly locks down the one remaining ambusher. Roderick moves up, draws his dagger, and lays into the last remaining Wolf Rider, quickly felling his mount. Rondis follows suit, lashing at the now wolfless Wolf Rider. And fells him. And that leaves us with just one more foe. The goblin manages to stumble free, but just barely. But Jaeger quickly runs him down and tears him to pieces. Rest in peace, Casimir the Glorious. You were with us for 50 days. It's hard to see you go. Well, at least we got a few level ups. Bellefontaine hits level 4, Dominic hits level 6, and Reinhard hits level 8. Looks like we can recover most of, actually all of Casimir's gear, so we'll put it to good use. And we'll go ahead and grab the rest of this sales fodder. Goodness knows, we certainly earned it. We're almost at the 30-minute mark here, so I'm going to rearrange our line, get our guys set up, and we'll finish avenging Casimir's death as we wipe this orc stronghold off the map. Hey, RetconRaider here. I guess the Greenskin invasion has finally claimed its first victim. Like I said earlier, it was bound to happen sooner or later. We've been tempting fate for weeks now, and we've had a lot of close calls. I guess it was finally time for our luck to run out. In retrospect, I do regret moving Casimir into the flank guard position. Chiron can do that sort of thing because he has 40 points in his melee and range defense scores, but Casimir was only level 7. He definitely wasn't ready to take on more than one enemy at a time. I'll have to be more careful in the future. It's easy to get overconfident when we have so many elite level 11 mercenaries in our lineup, but less experienced recruits like Dominic or Bellefontaine could easily end up being killed by a single bad move. Fortunately, even with the loss of Casimir, the Raiders are still in pretty good shape. We had the foresight to hire several extra brothers to fill out our reserves, so for now we still have more than enough men to continue fielding a full squad. Which is good because there's still plenty of fighting to do before we can finally put an end to this invasion. This is RetconRaider, signing off. Thanks for watching. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Battle Brothers, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, or the fan-run wiki. Links are in the description.